Hello, this is Dave, and welcome to Equity Story. And just like to say, this is just general share advice and not personal advice, as per the disclaimers on the website. And Mr. Wolf, pretty quiet day today, but we're going to go through the Wolf's portfolio, which is going to be super duper fun. And firstly, Wolf, let's talk about EM2 because, you know, uh, everyone knows we know the management, and we like Charlie, and we
We
like
like
the
copper.
we like copper. We like the story. It is actually below trend lines at the moment. But again, Wolf, great results outside the traditional resource. I mean, they had some big nice sort of 61 meters at 1% copper. I mean, that's all good stuff, isn't it?
They keep adding, right? They keep adding more, I suppose, to the inventory, I'd say, later down the track. So generally speaking, the exploration is ticking boxes.
So what does this need? I mean, they're turning up with good hits all the time. What does this need for the market to take this to a higher market cap? Does this
I think
need?
it's the next step is to give us some sort of a timeline of when there's going to be a possible mine going on, if there is a mine to be had there. So I think that's what maybe the investors are looking for, potentially, because I suppose now with that copper drilling that's been fairly successful, possibly the investors want to see the next phase.
Well, I think they have got a timeline, but I think it was the last presentation. It was put on page 56, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly. They need to put more emphasis on it. Just give
yeah,
us, this excite everyone about, we're gonna be actually coming up with some. Well, we need a PFS. We need all those sort of stuff. We need to be maybe talking more about that than exploration, because I think everybody understands now with this copper around.
yeah, and a lot of it.
Yeah.
Wolf, tell us about CCare because
Mhm.
there's, I mean, we like the story. Don't get me wrong, but there's an issue there, and
Yes, there is an issue.
what's the issue?
Chicken shortage.
There's-
No, there's actually not actually chicken shortage. There's actually a human shortage to process the chickens. So we've got the problems with the current, how the governments have set the agendas of, if people are close contacts, they have to isolate and all those sort of things. So there's staff shortages, and which means that possible, workers can't come to work, and that's why you've got the shelves empty where there's no restockers and so on. So there's an issue, and we saw Ingham's come out yesterday, I think, or the day before, saying we're going to be taking a short-term hit because of those issues. And now, we've seen in the paper, KFC might run out of chickens. so we've got that issue potentially with your fast food places. They need to have a steady source of chickens. And maybe that's something that we need to keep in mind, right? When we're investing some stories, short-term maybe hits some along the line. So I think, look, the market's maybe already caught wind of that and just giving you a little bit of a weakness in the share price. So watch it closely. If you're a trader, you maybe want to think about looking at something else for the moment. But for the long term, of course, you'll be okay, because your short-term pain is okay as long as it doesn't drop below the trend line.
well, this is an issue all around town at the
Yeah.
moment. Coles have we've got rationing on certain products, and again, Wolf.
There's no
What?
meat, Dave. There's no meat. I went to Woolies today. No meat on the shelves, and milk is just about run out as well. So it's not just your chickens. There's going to be a lot of issues with some of the
And the toilet paper's gone again.
That's gone a long time ago, Dave. Everyone's got 20 million toilet rolls at home for the last 2 years.
Oh my gosh, what is it? Why do people worry about toilet paper more than the food?
Most important thing in life is to wiping your ass, Dave. You should know that by now.
Oh, say no more. Say no more. These are crazy times. But okay,
It is.
is this going to cause? Is this going to up our inflation numbers, Wolf?
Possibly. That's why it's such an interesting time right now in Australia. While the inflation figures are not really nothing to be scared about, when you especially look at something like Europe or America, I think there's some hidden stuff in there that we might see rear up in the short term. So definitely there's going to be some inflationary pressures somewhere along the line. So I'm fairly, I suppose, looking at the market, I'm very cautious.
Right. Okay. And LPI came out with
Mhm.
so they're splitting their lithium assets
Into
um
lithium methods.
into more lithium assets. So interesting.
What a tragedy. So you've got something, let's split it into two, maybe we can double our money. Yes. Okay, let's split them into four, maybe we can, and it's the same assets, just splitting them, splitting them, splitting them. I love it.
Well, they can, yeah. Well, if it works for them, they can keep splitting the assets and
Right
growing
on.
the business. But anyway, the chart looks good. It's gone through the buy signal quite nicely, and if you're in it, you'd be holding it.
Yep.
Wolf. So we're going to do something a little bit different today because the market is quiet, and I'm going to take everyone to the new website. So just please make sure you are on the new website. So and not on the old website because they're both still up. You know, with the new website, instead of member at equitystory.com, it's membership.
Yep.
Now we're getting a lot of good feedback from the new website, Wolf.
Yes.
People are liking it.
Just me, I'd say. I'm just
Like it.
bombarding it.
US trends will be always there on people who've got access to that, the US market, about the
Yep.
US market.
Mhm.
And obviously we've got the Trade Watch, which you just click absolutely normal. It tells you a little bit about Trade Watch. But importantly, it's a lot more detail about what stories we like at the time and where we're buying them. But this is your portfolio. We're going to have a look at your portfolio today, Wolf. Now, we have a lot of members that join Equity Story who are very new to share trading. And the idea is, well, you tell us the basic thing about your portfolio and what you're trying to do with it. And it's so far so good. It's been very good, Wolf. So tell us uh, a little bit about Wolf's portfolio.
I think it's just a collection of stories that I think are pretty good, right? To trend, to trade, to invest into. That's the idea of it. So a collection of interesting stories that we feel comfortable with, that it can possibly see some returns. Now, of course, you know, the market dynamics can play havoc on some stories, which it has. Of course, we know we've had some tech sell-off. So some of the stories like AMS has been possibly, you know, hit a little bit. But generally speaking, we're trying to navigate with this. It's only like 15 stories in there all up. So it's not a big thing, but we're trying to keep it fairly simple and very small, just to give, if someone's looking for a dividend, there's a little dividend stock in there, West Farmers, but I'm going to probably add another one or two. So there'll be something for everyone in there. You can maybe generally get an idea what sort of stories I'm following, what I feel comfortable with.
But this is largely a growth portfolio.
It is. I'm looking for growth. I'm not looking for dividends in a way here. This is more for the growth-oriented investors. But like I said, I might put in a story or two of dividends just to give me a variety in there, and people can pick out some stories. I mean, I'm not gonna tell you to follow this because, of course, this is not personal advice. This is just what I think are good stories to look at, and I sort of formed like a portfolio out of it to see whether we can, you know, make some money out of these stories.
So when you look at it, you've got, obviously you can see where you last updated the story. You've got the ticker code, the upload price.
Yep.
So this is what obviously you're hoping people bought it originally around this price. The market cap, is it a large cap or a small cap?
Yep.
If it's a trade, because you've got a few trades on here as well, right?
Yeah. But remember, again, I like to just emphasize that a trade like is investment anyway, and vice versa. An investment is a trade. It's just depending on your time frame on it, right? So yeah, it's just an indication.
And the risk profile, obviously, things that are more risky, obviously a high risk and medium risk.
Yeah.
What they can also do on a new website, you can click on a code, and this is, I think, absolutely fantastic, where you can get a lot more detail about the stock. There's a nice little chart that comes up, so you can have a look at the chart. But importantly, just recent news, and you can see from Yahoo. It's just a nice little function there. So
that's Becky, Dave. We're going high tech.
yeah, so great stuff now that the sort of Equity Story website can do. But these are the stocks. Now, maybe you can just talk us through them one by one. So your first one on your list is Aristocrat. We're doing quite well for you, Wolf. Large cap. Obviously, you're looking for a long-term hold on this.
Yeah, Dave. So, you know, with the Aristocrat, I've got a target length 2 to 3. It's just, again, an indication that I think you should be thinking long term. That's pretty much what it is here. You've got in our story that's been very, very, very good over a long period of time. So we're obviously trying to follow that trend.
And a lot of these stories are in your 21. So you're like XRO and NXT. You're using the monthly charts on them.
So, yeah, some of them I am. Some of them, of course, I'm not, because it's a maybe shorter term trade. So you got to be looking at the weekly chart. But it's like, again, it's don't treat everything the same. Look at every story individually. See if you like it, if it sort of fits your profile. But at the end of the day, they're all good stories in a way. I'm not going to put what I consider a story that's not probably going to do much. So we've gone through AL, LLL. XRO is probably the one that's struggling a little bit at the moment with the tech sell-off, but I'm still comfortable because I'm using the monthly on that. AMS is another one that's delivering very good news, but the market's just selling off at the moment, so it's still just a hold. SCS done very well for us, so we're okay. DSC has done very well for us, small little micro cap there. Then we've got 5GG there. Of course, it's probably underwater at the moment, but again, we're just holding on by the skin of our teeth. AVG's done well for us, so we're okay. DD has done very well. NXT is, again, a longer term trend, doing it okay. Sometimes not. It's just been volatile. Westfarm has done very well for us, so we're good there. PWH is okay. We've done very well with that one. And the last, I didn't put an upload date for ALQ, but I need to update it. But the last three, it's only been updated this week, right? So SWM, S32, and ALQ have been added on really this week. So you've got extra 3 stories on there. And I've just shortened the target length to 12 months each. Just the fact that, of course, there's a lot of dynamics going on in the economy at the moment. So I'm just playing it period by period. And I'm calling this a 12-month period in these 3 stocks.
All right, and I think this portfolio is very important because, especially if you're new to trading and you just want to take it easy, maybe for the first 6 months or a year with Equity Story, just follow the Wolf's portfolio. It's a very good stories, growth, and historically they've done very, very well. Wolf, just having a look at the new website. Obviously, you've got your Trade Watch, which similar to the old website where you've got the video, but I think what's much more clearer now is we've got obviously the little buy ideas that we put on, so people can go and have a look at these. I think that's absolutely excellent. Lovely, obviously, we've got Wolf's portfolio, we've got the education, so and I think they're going to spruce this up a little bit. But there's a little video that we did talking about, what we do on the course, and that's really interesting. So if people want to sort of know a little bit more about the Cincinnati course, they should watch that video. But they can just sign up here, which is great. And then we've got the live, so we've got to put out last night's live as well, Wolf. But there's, what we do, the live videos that we record will be put up here, and there you can register, obviously, for the videos to go live every week. And you've got advanced, you've got Einstein's, which is advanced, and we call it advanced because Einstein's is a little bit more complex. We really prefer people to do the course for look at Einstein's.
You need to know what you're doing with Einstein's, Dave. You can't just be a beginner and do Einstein's because you're going to get yourself into trouble.
Yeah, definitely. Have a look at Einstein's. Obviously got US stocks, and I'll show this because it's not available to everyone. But we had some. It's interesting that some like Bank, JP Morgan, Bank of America, I think XOM, GS, they were all trending. So it's interesting those American banks starting to trend, Wolf, and look quite good. But yeah, again, so the US trends are historically done very well, and it's the Cincinnati method. Wolf, we'll have a quick look because again, Einstein's has I think really sort of, and you do know how to trade a little bit of Einstein's because I mean, what we do with Einstein's, we put out sort of every stock that we think is going to be sort of really bullish, and you can see what look at the materials which are really trending. We've had some absolute, CRR, some great moves up. QXR has been fantastic. SFM starting to go today. And this is only the first week. LPI looking good. What's this one? CDT green for the week. BEM slightly up. XTC, that's had a nice little move up. I think it was up 35% earlier today. CAE starting to trend up. MRR up 12% today, so a little bit. But again, they've done generally speaking, Wolf, I won't go through them all, but they've done absolutely brilliantly.
Yep.
But you just got to be aggressive with them. Go in, take a profit. Don't hang around too much. Lift your stop loss and
Don't be greedy.
yeah, don't be greedy. Well said, Wolf. On that note, Wolfie, anything? And Wolf, there is going to be something added this week as well. So added to here is going to be the super small cap growth. And the first two stocks, obviously, we're going to be adding to that are the ones we've talked about, AV1 and PPL. And I'm not surprised. I think Wolf will be adding 5GG to that and a few more over the coming months. So I think I'm looking forward to the super small cap growth. It's a little bit like the old 10 baggers, but it's got a bit more of a posher name, hasn't it?
Pretty much. No, I think, look, it's probably a little bit more involving. We're going to be, hopefully we can speak to the CEO. So it's going to be a story that maybe we just got a little bit more coverage with, right? Where more information hopefully equates to lesser risk, but still a great long-term potential for the story.
On that note, Wolf, was there anything else you would like to add today?
I love you.
Oh, God. He's only saying this because he thinks his wife's got COVID and he's about to come down with it. So
it's happening, Dave. It's happening.
Yeah. Well, we've all had it. Most people have had it now in Equity Stories. So it's like the whole world's got it. I think they're saying half of Europe has got it.
Yes, I know. Anyway, look, I think short and sweet today. I think I'm glad we've done that new website just to show people how to navigate, because it's a great tool that we've enhanced for everyone to do. Very volatile still this week, and I think probably we're going to see a bit of a crank up in activity from next week when there's got to be more quarterlies coming out. So prepare yourselves.
All right. Thanks, Wolfie. Have a lovely day, mate.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye-bye.